These are the Capsule3 Pro Plus, and yes, it is a mouthful, but SoundPeats did send this to me for the purpose of making this video. They sent it free, of course, and no money exchange hands, so make of that information what you will. I'm just trying to be transparent about all of this, including the fact that this is basically the third device that SoundPeats does send to me for me to make videos. So again, make of that information what you will, but I do want to tell you that all opinions are my own. So this means that I will tell you what I like about these earbuds and also what I feel that could be better. Alright, so let's start with the price. These are not exactly affordable earbuds. They are not cheap and they are not super high price, but for what they are, they do provide a pretty decent value. Now, if you do decide to pick this up, they will set you back around $90 US, which is the retail price. However, SoundPeats does have the tendency to have discounts on their products very often. So for example, in just these past couple of weeks, I have seen them go from 30% discount to 35% discount and then back to 30 and so on and so forth.
Now, I will leave affiliate links in the description down below, but if you want to get the best price possible, make sure that you vet it before you get it. Vetted is a free browser extension that lets you rest assured that you are getting the best deal possible on any given product you want to buy on Amazon, as well as other stores. It gives you a price history and can even let you know if now is a good time to purchase or if you should probably wait for a discount based on past trends. Vetted's AI scans the reviews and summarizes the pros and cons that stand out most commonly. It works on Chrome-based browsers, Firefox, Safari, and now there's even a mobile app that makes shopping so much easier. Now, I am not sponsored by Vetted, but I do get a kickback if you decide to install the free extension or download the free app. There is no additional cost to you, only potential savings. So it's a win-win. Check the link in the description so you can vet it before you get it.
So there's a lot to like about the SoundPeats Capsule3 Pro Plus, not including the name because it's a mouthful, but the sound quality is actually really good for the price. Now, if you have an Android device, you can take advantage of the LDAC support that these have. If you're on iPhone, then you're stuck with the protocols that Apple supports, but that's not to say that it's a bad sounding quality. Only if you want really high resolution with LDAC, then you will need to use your Android device. Now, another thing that I like about this is the case. It is small, it is compact, it looks pretty good, and it has a very nice kind of textury feeling, kind of rubbery, so to speak, but not exactly rubber. Now, there is the one downside to that is, and that is that it is kind of a fingerprint magnet a little bit, so I kind of do find myself wiping it a lot. But like I said, the size, I really like the size because even though these are wider, for example, than the SoundPeats Clear that I wasn't before, they are thinner if you put them side by side. So even though this is technically smaller, or at least not as wide as this one, I always found that this would really stand out in my pants. So it was really bulky in my pants, whereas this SoundPeats Capsule3 Pro Plus, again the name, these tend to just disappear inside my pockets, my pants pockets. So I really like that. Now the battery life is pretty good. You get a maximum total rated for about 42 to 43 hours, and that's of course including the charge that you get in the case. In my experience, I was able to listen to music and play some games via Bluetooth for about 6 hours. I think I almost had it for 6 hours straight, so that was actually pretty good. And again, with the battery that is in the case, in the charging case, then you get an additional few charges that sum up to a total of about maximum 42 to 43 hours. Now, I did mention gaming rather with this, so they do have a gaming mode, which when you activate, it does allow for better low latency. And I have tried others that are a little bit better, and this could be a little bit better in the game mode, but it's pretty much good enough for what you would want to use it. Now, speaking of audio modes, these do have noise cancelling, active noise cancelling rather, and they also have pass-through function, which you can enable via the app or via shortcuts. which, by the way, are customizable. So another thing that I really like, SoundPeats tend to have pretty good applications for their Bluetooth devices, and there was a SoundPeats app, but I'm not sure if it started with this device, but I did notice that when I connected this one to my iPhone, it prompted me to download the newer app, which is simply called Peats Audio. The previous one was called SoundPeats. Now, just like with the SoundPeats Audio app that was before, the new one also allows you to customize several of the features of this Capsule 3 Pro Plus. Now, I would say that the app is just as good as, if not a little bit better than the previous one, and it allows you to do several things. For example, you can check the battery levels of the earbuds individually, and you can also set some of the settings, for example, the equalization, and they do have some pretty good presets, actually, not custom, preset, but they do allow you to set your own custom equalization. They also have this feature called Adaptive EQ, which pretty much takes you to a sound test where they play several frequencies through the earbuds, and you basically tell the app when you can listen to each of the frequencies, and based on whether or not you actually listen to the frequency, and I'm guessing that how long it takes you to listen to the frequency or to realize that the frequency is playing, then it changes the equalization, and it's supposed to be the best equalization for your ears so that you can listen to every single frequency that there is to listen to. Now, I have mixed feelings about this. I have tried it in another device and it was terrible. I have like a very mixed results with this adaptive EQ with the SoundPeats. For example, the clear, when I tried the clear and the adaptive EQ, it was actually pretty good. I still liked one of the presets, their own presets, better, but it was actually, the adaptive EQ was pretty good with the SoundPeats clear. I also tested the SoundPeats Space, which are bigger over-ear headphones that I actually gave to my daughter, that's why I don't have it here. And the adaptive EQ was terrible on that one. However, on the Capsule 3 Pro Plus, I'm not sure if it's because of the app, but the adaptive EQ was actually pretty good as well. Probably not as good as it was with a clear, but I don't know, it was actually pretty good. And again, I still prefer some of the the presets that they include, and they were designed by SoundPeats. So now, of course, your mileage may vary because sound is subjective after all. Another thing that you can do within the SoundPeats app is that you can customize the touch controls, and that's something that I really appreciate. Now, the default controls they're okay, but the single touch, I always like it to be to play and pause your media. However, it is by default set to volume control, which can be okay for some people, but again, I really appreciate the fact that you can customize it to your liking. And you can do pretty much everything from volume control to play, pause, and enabling your active noise cancelling, the transparency mode, and your game mode. Or even start your assistant if you're into that thing. I'm not. The app also allows you to enable simultaneous connection to two devices. Now, there is a small caveat with that, and that is that if you enable a dual connection, and by dual connection I do mean that you can have two devices connected to the earbuds at the same time, and whichever device plays audio first is going to be the one that's going to be listened to. Meaning that if you want to listen to both at the same time, you pretty much have to pause one so that you can listen to the other. But the good thing is that you don't have to be pairing both devices depending on which one you want to use. Again, the caveat, I was getting to the caveat. The caveat is that if you have dual device connection enabled, you pretty much disable the LDAC support. So it's up to you if you want to actually take advantage of LDAC or not. Then you can either enable or disable the dual connectivity. I tend to enable it because I do have an Android and an iPhone device, and I like the convenience of being able to just seamlessly switch between devices by simply selecting which one is playing any sort of audio at any given moment. The sound quality is decent on this, and I did notice that it has a pretty aggressive noise cancellation for calls, but let me just play some audio for you. Right now, you are listening to the microphones in the SoundPeats Capsule3 Pro Plus. Now, these are very comfortable, the mic is pretty decent, and this is basically what you can expect the other person to listen when you are in a call using these earbuds. So, the Capsule 3 Pro Plus are not perfect, and there are a few things that I wish could be a little bit better. Now, the noise cancellation during calls is very aggressive, and this has a positive side and a negative side. I would say that the positive side is that your voice will sound very clear, but at the expense of sounding highly processed. So it's up to you to determine whether you prefer to be heard clearly or to be heard at a very high quality. So I think it's a pretty good compromise if you ask me, but it slightly bothers me that the voice sounds a little bit too processed. Not a deal breaker in my opinion, but there's that. It's worth mentioning. Now, when playing music, the bass could be a little bit more solid. Now, I'm not saying that these are not bass heavy. Actually, they are not bass heavy, but they do provide some bass, meaning that you pretty much can enjoy, I guess, any type of genre, music genre. But I really wish that the bass would be a little bit more punchy, a little bit more solid. There is bass, but it could be a little bit, more punchy. That's what I want to say. So, like I mentioned at the beginning, this review, if you want to call it a review, was made using a sample unit sent to me by SoundPeats. And again, no money was exchanged, so all opinions are my own, believe it or not. And yeah, so this is it for this video. I hope that you found it helpful. I hope to see you in the next one, and until then, may God bless you all.